Good morning from Disturbia. You can see here the sky is aglow in the west. Back in the east, it's completely dark where the sun is going to come up, but here it's always glowing. I tell you the date, but I'm not sure. Oh, I see it's here on my camera, 7/12. It's a little bit cooler this week. Not much though. It should be -10, -12. But reality is being suppressed through the hermetic sealing of the sky. So that no fresh air comes down from the dome where the waters are. It's sealed with a hydraulic. I also wanted to show this. I've shown this before, but just take a look. It's 6:30 in the morning, and you've got this shopping center that doesn't open until 9 o'clock or 10. They just built this underground parking about a year ago. Look at all the lights burning in there. Look at all these lights, and they're telling us that we need to conserve electricity. Otherwise, our carbon footprint is going to be too big. Why on earth do they have this lit up? Why did they build this parking ramp? Well, in my opinion, as always, it's about the global. Recently, I saw a video done by a man who evidently works for the city. I believe it was in Scotland, and he brought home one of these lamps here. Pardon my window. It's dirty on the inside because I had so much water on the inside of my windshield about 2 weeks ago, and I can't get it clean since then. I don't know what, it's not really water. I don't know what it is. I believe it's a mercury combination. Anyhow, he took apart one of these street lamps here that look like this, and said that there was radar in it, and with a sensor. And not only that, but there are audio-visual apparatus inside these lamps. And every time you're standing under one or approaching one, you get attacked. And so that's one reason why they build, so that they can put lights in, so that they can outfit their buildings with the latest in technology, killer technology, because it is a war on terror. Terra. And on, of course, God's creation. That's why they're building. And also, buildings are outfitted with chimneys which blow out shite from hell. Just like I've showed many times, the so-called sports building. It's a complex, and they do sports there maybe once every 2 or 3 years. But really, it's an alchemical temple for Baal. And now what they're doing where I live is tearing up the ground. It really breaks your heart to see all that beautiful earth being piled up. Who knows what they're doing with it? I did a video not too long ago called .org. I first named it ORG, but then I realized, no, it's got to be ORC. After the orcs that are created underground in the Lord of the Rings. Who knows what they're doing with that earth? You see, they always kill as many birds as possible, literally and figuratively, with their buildings. They're tearing up the ground. They're using the earth for God knows what purpose. It's not going to be a good purpose. God created mankind out of the earth. It's just the breath of life. That's always the question. Where did they get the breath of life? And then you have all this lighting. And then, of course, when it's hot out, the buildings absorb the heat, and at night they radiate this heat back out. Because it used to be where I lived that it was 2 degrees cooler than Frankfurt, because I used to live in Frankfurt, and my horse lived in the area where I live now, and I would see what the temperature was going from Frankfurt to where my horse is and back. Well, now I live near my horse, and it's the same temperature. This is what they want. They want this melting pot, this idea that, God created the earth and the creation with great variety, and Satan says, no, I want everything the same. No male, no female. And this is what a lot of people will say. Well, there were only a couple of different kinds of animals when God made creation, and all these animals that we see today are genetically, I don't believe that. Pardon my window. Look at this, how dirty. But most of it really is on the inside. I don't think I have any cleaner, so I'm not going to start trying to clean the windshield. But I also wanted to mention that tomorrow is a 9/11 day, 8 and 6, because tomorrow is the 8th. Oh, excuse me, 8 and 3, because we're in December now. 1 and 2 is 3, so you've got 8 and 3 is 11. 2022, 222 is 6. Build back better. And if you flip the 6, you've got a 9. So there you've got your 11, 9, 9, 11. And tomorrow in Germany, there's going to be a countrywide alarm just to see and test the alarm systems. And I've shown this also in the neighboring town, Erlensee. They've built 2 or 3 really high alarm towers. For what? I mean, the question is this. For example, I mean, you could also compare this parking ramp with the need for this parking ramp, with the need for these new alarm systems. Why suddenly, after hundreds of years, do we need more alarm systems? Why after, 75, 80 years of this mall that we just went by, do we suddenly need a parking ramp that is lit up all night long? You might say, well, they don't want people sleeping under there. Well, then why did they build the damn thing? If they didn't need it for 75 years, why do they need it now? And just like where I live, why are they tearing up the earth so that they can build yet another shopping center? They don't care if people frequent this shopping center. We've got a big shopping center near me that's closed because nobody wants to go there. Then they decided, well, we'll change it from one kind of a store to another. And they even put in a gas station where the gas was 2 cents cheaper to draw people into this parking lot. And people, I rarely went there. I just didn't like it there. I don't know why. It's not that it wasn't on the way. It's just I preferred going shopping at a different place. And many people did not go. There was a really big store. And they decided, well, we're going to change the name and then maybe people will come. And then they've torn down the gas station. Now there is no more gas station. And to be honest, I don't know what's there now, because since I moved my horses, I don't go by there all the time. But all I'm trying to say is, why don't, they would never ever think of tearing down the building and then putting back the trees that were there. No. They don't care if people shop there. They don't care if people live in those houses. They want to get at that earth. They want to take the earth away. They want to put up concrete. They want to put in chimneys to raise the temperature for Baal. That is the outcome. Because as I said, if they really cared, and they don't care about what people think, because we had a big petition going. I signed it. I sent it to everybody that I knew who were against tearing up those fields. And then the Greens, who are in power now in Germany, I know several people who have voted for the Greens, and they're not for green. Their motto is go green. And that doesn't mean, yay, go green. It means go. Vanish. The people are, I don't know, nobody's really picking up on this. You know, and they're all for abortion, etc. I've done videos on all these topics before. But really, just going by, I was thinking about that yesterday, going by that mall with the underground parking, and I just thought, you know, they're going on about conservation. You know, you cannot conserve electricity. It's in the air. So why do we need to conserve it? Why do I need to pay more money for a so-called commodity that is in the air, that is being produced? We're being irradiated day and night. You see, that's their joke. I don't know how else to interpret it. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But even Tesla said, you know, this electricity, you just need to tap into it, etc. They don't even need electricity. That's my opinion. How did mankind live in heat and keep warm without electricity for thousands and thousands of years? This electricity is relatively new, unless they had it in antediluvian times, which could very well be. I mean, you read about the pyramids. Pyramid, fire in the midst. That's what pyramid means. Fire in the midst. Pyra, pyre. Like a funeral pyre. Fire in the midst. And with these pyramids, they were able to light up whole regions. You see, so, you know, they're trying to make believe that, you know, we had to have this industrial revolution, otherwise we wouldn't have electricity, and electricity was a boon for mankind, etc., etc. But you see, it's not, as you're getting heated, because electricity does not mean cooling. Many people are getting confused. They're talking about electricity being clean. There's nothing clean about it. Years ago, didn't they always talk about electrosmog? Now all of a sudden it's clean. You see, abracadabra. We can make it dirty. We can make it clean just with the stroke of our forked tongue. Just with a flick of that forked tongue, we can change the nature of things. Anyhow, I just wanted to show the hypocrisy of it all and mention that tomorrow here in Germany will be, I mean, all over the earth, tomorrow is a 9/11 date. We've had many of them, but for some reason they add and subtract dates from other dates and events, etc. And I guess this date tomorrow is more significant than maybe the other ones were. That they're going to bring this alarm. They're going to sound the alarm tomorrow. And I do believe that with all of these woofers and tweeters that they have set up here and erected all over Disturbia, that this sound system will play a part in the end time delusion. It's called in the Bible strong delusion, by the way. How often have I heard great deception, great delusion? The delusion is strong, as in magnetic, because that's what it's about for Satan. Electromagnetic, electromagnetism. The magnet is the false rock. They've got a huge magnet, or a slab, at the United Nations Meditation Room in New York City, and it is a big slab of iron, electromagnetic conducting, of course. And people go in that prayer room, and I don't know what they do in there. Pray to their false gods. But you see, we're being told that there is a separation between church and state. Well, no, there's only a separation from the Lord God Almighty. A casting away of the cords of God into lawlessness and godlessness, you see. So in a way, they are separating from the church and God, going into godlessness because their gods are godless. You see, it's all, it's so twisted. It's beyond comprehension. how twisted and deluded. Somebody said recently there's a symbiosis between the wicked and the masses, and that the wicked know what they do and the masses know not what they do. But to be honest with you, it could just be that my false impression from the internet. But I also know more people than not who actually are theosophists, anthroposophists. I think that's what it's called, anthroposophy. It sounds good, you know, anthroposophy, anthropology. This anthro is about an overthrow. It's about overthrowing God, but God will overturn. We know that from the Bible. He will overturn it all. It doesn't look like he is going to. Look at this huge plume back here. I don't know if you can see it in the middle of the shot. You might say, well, it's spouting because it's cold out. It spouts in the middle of summer. Come on. People are at ease. People are at ease. That reminds me of Laish. The people of Laish, they were a people who dwelt carelessly. Whenever you see that in the Bible, you know that destruction is coming. This idea of just being careless. Oh, it's okay. I'm not going to think about it. I remember when I was young and before I was told that I had cancer, I had a lot of pain day and night for years. And I had back surgery, and even before the back surgery, the doctors asked me, what's wrong with your leg? And I said, I don't know. I guess I have arthritis. I was 15 at the time. I didn't know what it was. I said, I don't know, but I've been in pain since I was 8 years old, and it's gotten increasingly worse. And it wrecked my leg. Like Jacob wrestling with God, my body was wrestling with this cancer. And during the back surgery, he found, they did some exploratory surgery, and they found that I had a tumor, but they found also that the sciatic nerve had been chewed up. Not altogether, of course, because I can still walk, thank God. But anyway, after the surgery, normally you have this surgery, for scoliosis, it's called a spina fusion. You have the surgery and you go home in 2 weeks. They have you up and walking within a week. This was in 1979, by the way. This was a while back when they were doing these surgeries. Now they don't do them so much because they realize that the surgery is just changing one deformity for another. But anyway, what my point is, and I'm getting to it very slowly and excruciatingly, is that I laid there in that bed for a while. I saw people come and go after surgeries, and I was still laying in bed. And well, then they decided they were going to put me in a different hospital and do some tests. And I had a bone scan, and I had a liver scan, and they did another biopsy, and oh my gosh, I laid there. I just remember the tears were just going down my face, you know, because it just seemed like it never ended. The pain and what the hell is going on, pardon my language, but that's how I felt. Anyhow, like I said, I was 15, and when they moved me from the Children's Hospital where I had the spinal fusion into St. Joseph's Hospital in Phoenix, there was a doctor there who was an oncologist. And I do believe that God was already protecting my mind. I think I had in the interim believed in Jesus. I'm not sure, because I did go back to the Children's Hospital, and there was a nurse at the Children's Hospital who witnessed to me. Maybe it was after the fact. But I was having all these tests at St. Joseph's. Mind you, I had just had major back surgery on the 15th of May. 1979. They were going to do it on May 1st. But thank God they didn't. I mean, that's May Day, and God knows what might have happened to me. But anyhow, it was the 15th of May by God's grace, and everything turned out okay. And then I was sent to St. Joe's. I see I've only got 45 seconds, so I got to go quickly. And the oncologist there came into my room, and I saw his face, and I remember thinking, oh no, I don't want to know, I don't want to know, I don't want to know. And then he said, you've got cancer, and I just started to cry because I thought they were going to have to chop off my leg, and I said, you're going to have to take my leg off. And he said no, and then I really was relieved. And because I knew all those years that my leg hurt and something was wrong, but I didn't. I thought, what my point is, we don't want to hear and we don't want to know, but we cannot fight against an enemy unless we know what's going on, unless we face the truth. And so many people think, well, if I just lay down and put my pillow over my head and I don't know anything and I don't think anything bad and I only think positive, then everything is going to turn out good. But that's not true. You have to face the truth of who the enemy is and face the facts, because if you don't do it now, you're going to have to do it later. So you may as well do it now, repent, believe the truth, and be saved. And I've come to the end of my time. It's too bad I wasted so much time, because maybe I could have said a little bit more, but let's see what happens. And let's continue in prayer against the wicked, because our God is the Holy One of Israel, and He will triumph over our enemies, all of them.